like diamonds, all things diamond painting. Square around, I'm glad you are around. Grab your plate, grab your wax, get ready to sit back and relax. Don't see you're single, whatever your niche. Here is your host, a guy named Rich.
Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. Greetings from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I am down here this evening. We're getting ready to leave on a cruise tomorrow to the Caribbean. And why not talk some Bling the night before I do that, right? Teemaw was gracious enough to offer her spot up since she's going to be out of town this week. So I know that a lot of you really enjoyed our first session with Cheryl talking about Bling. So we're going to bring some more stuff to you here this evening. So let me just go through really quick and say hi to some folks. Hi, Muttnut. Melissa, thank you for showing up. You were here early. We were chatting a little earlier. Sarah says, thank you to Cheryl for taking the time to share your knowledge. And there is a lot of knowledge rolling around in that skull there. And let's definitely take advantage of it. Let's see. Diamonds in the Deserts. Hello. We have Diamonds in the Deserts. I got your question. In addition to Kate, I haven't come across your name yet. I got your questions that you emailed in. So I will, I've already given those to Cheryl and we will talk about those this evening as well. Hi, Cheryl Bradley. Welcome on in. She says, the weather's nuts, hoping your cruise would be safe. Yes, there is a tropical storm, Melissa, which is predicted to become a hurricane. So just got message today that our itinerary changed from Eastern Caribbean, so St. Thomas and St. Martin, to Western. So we're going to Cancun or Cozumel, one of the seas in Mexico, and then Honduras. So I've been to those like once before, so it's going to be nice to go to a port that I haven't been to as much as the other two. Carol, hi, welcome on in, and thank you for the nice email wishing me a bon voyage. Carol, neighbor Carol, thank you so much. Christine, Cat here in Chaos, hello, welcome on in. Gail Pierce, welcome on in. Hi, Doretta. Eve, there's Miss Eve, looking forward to the Bling. She's loving the Bling. Hi, Kate. Yes, Bling University. Let's go there. Let's see who else is coming on in. Sherry, hello. Melissa Hott, welcome on in. Kate Perez, Garden Craft, Florida. You're in West Palm Beach. Okay, excellent. Yes, I am. I actually used to spend summers down here in Fort Lauderdale with family, friends of family. And it's sort of interesting. Like, I don't remember much of it. We were driving back so we got in early this morning, and me and my cruise buddy, we went out to lunch at our favorite taco place, Rocco's Tacos, because really the drinks and the salsa and the chips are where it's at. But we were coming back, and we're in the back seat of an Uber. I go, oh my gosh, look it. And there was this iguana that had to have been maybe 2 feet long, pretty round. And he's like walking up the front porch of this house. And as we're looking at it, I go, wait, look at the side of the house. There was probably 12 iguanas in this yard. And I just could not believe it. I've never seen that many iguanas in one place. It was quite interesting. Hey, Matt, welcome on in. I am relaxed. I had some good tequila this afternoon, so it's good. It's good. Diamonds and Dogs, you had to change your cruise route too. Yeah, it does happen a lot. I mean, it's better than all out canceling it, right? I'm going to miss St. Martin because I like St. Martin, but it's also, going to 2 new places. It's great. Did I take pictures, Doretta? I didn't get a chance to. We found it so fast, and I was like, oh my gosh, and then we pulled off. So Melanie says maybe she's an iguana sitter like Melanie does when she watches the dogs, all the Cavaliers. Maybe they were, who knows. Hi Shay, welcome on in. Diamonds and Decaf, hello, welcome on in, everybody. Like I said, we have some questions that were sent in. So if anybody has, yeah, Mel, that means no magic spice, unless I can find it in Honduras or something. But I think that I've only seen it like Saint Martin definitely, and maybe Saint Thomas once. But I'll look for it because I want some too. And if I can't get it, I may order it as well. Crafteritas, that's where I saw it. I'm in Fort Lauderdale today. So yeah, and then I was like wondering if it was going to get cold enough that they would start falling out of trees too. Hi, Sarah Ann, welcome on in. Melinda, hello. So as I was saying, we have some questions that were sent in before the live. So we have those, and we're going to go through those. There were a couple questions that I presented to Cheryl, plus I know that she's going to be going over some of the more some of the designs that they're working on and stuff like that. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring on the Bling brain that is Miss Cheryl. Hello, Cheryl.
Hello. Good evening, everybody.
How is everything with you in the center of the country?
Weather-wise, we just have rain, so it's not too bad.
Good.
Yep.
Good. Yeah, I was saying earlier when I left Chicago this morning, my car was frosted over, and I did not appreciate that. It was a little too early for that, in my opinion.
It is October in Chicago. Come on.
I know. I know. All right. So, Cheryl, the first video that we had went over very well, and has prompted a lot of questions, a lot of, I think, not renewed interest, but deeper interest in Bling. So I'm going to go ahead and do you want to go over what you're designing and stuff first, and we'll get to questions a little bit later?
Whichever way you'd like to do it.
Whatever's easiest for you.
Okay, well, I know one of the questions was talking about doing substitutions. Did you happen to bring up the shared drive for the cheat sheets? About having that one up.
I can pull that up just a second. The
Okay.
question, it was actually one that
Melanie, yep.
I've seen in the Facebook chat a lot, or the Facebook page,
yep,
about people wanting to get the bundles, and something is out of stock, so
yep,
then the entire bundle shows out of stock.
Right.
And people are asking about where can I go to get figure out, there was one yesterday that I forget the exact color, but like it was something brown, and I think
gingerbread.
Yeah, maybe it was gingerbread, and someone suggested
pumpkin spice.
Yes. So I am here. So let me go ahead and pull this up.
So a couple of things with that. One of the things that DP with Sparklers is working on is trying to fix or change how the bundles will be. Currently, the platform they have it on, if one item is out of stock, the whole bundle is out of stock. They're working on, Carrie Robinson, one of the moderators, is working with Jerry, and they're trying to update the site so the bundles will be different. So even if one item is out of stock, you'll still be able to go in and order all the rest of it, still with a single click. And you just wouldn't have that particular item. The price would change accordingly because it wasn't there. Yeah. We had talked about doing in potential examples or substitutions, but that's too difficult because then we have more things where we can get out of stock. So I think we're going to just be linking to the DP with Sparklers to the shared drive that we have the sheets that Carrie does with the color substitutions. So I think many people ask, and they're asking for substitutions, and maybe we can try to help them with looking at that a little bit.
So what I did, I've gone to the Diamond Painting with Sparklers, the group, not the business page,
Right.
and clicked on files.
Yep.
And then over here, I did a search, and I just searched for the word cheat because there's a bunch of cheat sheets out
If
there.
you put DMC, I think it should come up. I think that one should come up. That's what I usually search.
So
The
is it
DMC cheat sheet. Third one down, I think it is. Okay. Yep. So then when you bring that up, and I think there's a QR code and stuff, but if you click on that, now Carrie does update this. We do not recommend that you print this out because it's always changing.
Oh.
It's always changing. So some people print it out, but we recommend honestly that you don't, because it's so many pages and it's going to change. I think Carrie's doing it once a month right now.
Yes. So how would we use this to find a, let's use the example of ginger. Oh, am I not showing? Oh, here we go. Sorry. I gotta switch it over. Something else came up.
Okay.
Here we go. All right. So this
there's
is
a couple ways. If you go to that first page there, if you were to click on one of those numbers, those are some of the top numbers, it's going to take you right to that page. Or you can do a Control F. There's many different ways that you can look for it. I personally just scroll because it's just how I do it. But you can kind of just go through and look what it is. So there's a question actually in the chat where somebody's asking what replaces a coffee sparkler. And that's really not the question that, in my opinion, should be asked. You want to ask me what is another substitute for the original drill you're trying to replace. So I don't need to know what your coffee is that you're replacing. I need to know what the original color was. So I need to know if your DMC is 801, is it 838, is it, what is it, 938, is it something different? Because based upon that, we can then make a recommendation. So like if it were in a 300, right, you could be in 300 and then round or square, and you're able to read and see what some of the different choices are. Now, these choices that are going to be here, sometimes they make sense and sometimes they don't, because it's going to depend upon the die lot of what we were looking at, what we were designing. And it's also going to impact what drills were maybe going around it. Maybe we put a sparkler someplace because there wasn't a lot of other bling already by it. But if there's an AB already next to the one you're replacing and you're trying to sub something, a sparkler may not be the best sub, because now you're going to have two bling competing with each other right next to each other. And so you take away some of that.
Sure. So what I did here was, and I did what Cheryl told us not to do, is I searched on coffee, and coffee came up here. And what how Cheryl's saying is, she needs to know that it's DMC 300, or it's more helpful to say it's DMC 300. And now here's this entire list of potential substitutions that you could use.
Right.
I have done, like, let me search for the item, and now like I'm looking at this list, and if I needed coffee, I see copper. I know I have copper in my stash, so I may look at that.
Right.
So there's you can go that way, but to Cheryl's point, maybe it's not a sparkler that you're looking for, and it's really best to go from the DMC to the different drills.
Right, because it could be that, you might, and I don't know what it is that you're designing, so just asking that question without enough context doesn't always help. And that's why you may see Angelina respond that you can message her, is because we honestly need to know what you're substituting for and then where it's going. Because again, it makes a difference what it is that you're doing.
Sure.
Is it a low color? Is it a high color? What's blending next to it? Is it next to pixie dust? Is it next to, something else like an AB? Is it next to a glitter drill? What are you putting it next to? It really makes a difference. I would hate to tell somebody a substitute and then they use it and they're disappointed with the look, because I wouldn't know, just to say, hey, here's what it is. Now, the other thing to know on these cheat sheets is there are little symbols over there, and they tell you if it was a DP with sparkler substitution or if the substitution was from somebody else. Now, that doesn't mean that anything is wrong with what anyone else has done, but when they do it, like Angelina or some of the others, they will change, usually like Mary, Mary's in here. Gosh, now I forgot her channel name. Darn it. Crafting with Mary.
Crafting with Mary. Yep.
She'll change a lot, right? And so 801 replace. Okay, thank you. So let's look up 801, Rich. So they change an awful lot. And so sometimes they may have to take a lice, a little bit, being a little bit loose with sometimes what they're replacing. And so, and Tina and I will do the same thing. It'll be like, you know what, that will work and it will go and it's okay. But a standalone, it may not be the perfect solution for somebody. And so we have to look at some of those things. So asking what some of those things are. So let's see. Raymore the Bird ES is a coffee sparkler. You could try Square Crystal 433. That could be real pretty. Or 898. It'll still kind of give you the same look of a sparkler just because it's a crystal. And the coffee sparkler is a plain. So it may give you the same look.
Pulling up that, I'm trying to pull up that canvas. So give me one second.
You got the round? Okay. Oh, you're on the round. I'm on the wrong. Let's see. Yeah, you've got a round crystal 433, which is real pretty, or 898. So you could try either one of those, would be my suggestion. They're also very good ones to have in your stash. It would give you a very similar look. So see, that helps me know what it is that you're doing and what canvas it's from. And so it just gives me a little more piece of information that I can then, look up. And so it just helps me having the rest of that information.
For some reason, I'm having trouble finding that canvas.
I don't think it's Raymore. It's is it Ramon? What's his name? One of the Lorenz.
Oh, here, maybe this is it. Ramon.
Yep, Ramon. Okay. There we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I'd probably go with the crystal.
So we're replacing coffee, so that's probably
right. And I don't have that canvas, so I'm not quite sure where that was. Crashly has that canvas.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm not quite sure where it was getting replaced, but I'm going to guess it's probably but a crystal would give you that same type of look for that particular sparkler. I may not say a crystal if it were a different sparkler that was being replaced, like if it was fairy dust or something like that, because that's a different coating, and I wouldn't go with a plain crystal. So that's why I chose a plain crystal from that list. And so it helps to understand those different categories of the sparklers when you're replacing as well. It can also give you an idea of potentially what type of drill you may pick from that list, which could lead us into one of the other questions you had, right? Crashly, if you could you just look and see where 801 is, where it is on Ramon? Is it up like near the top of his head, or where is it? It's going to be on him somewhere. I'm just trying to figure out where it is.
So in just looking at this, Cheryl, like you had said, we have the listing of who replaced it with what. So when I think coffee, I don't know that I go to peach blossom, but I'm not looking at what peach blossom looks like, right?
Right.
Do you think that's a very close match, or do you think that's a little artistic license?
That's probably that artistic license because it does not have a DP with sparkler symbol next to it.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean it doesn't match, but
Right.
most likely whoever did it also changed several other drills that were next to it. So it worked in the value and in the hue as it changed color in the blend, but they just changed the blend. So
and I think it's definitely helpful to have all of those listings, because I know that a lot of people see Angelina's work and they're like, I want to do that, and so that can be very helpful to have that listed. But I just wanted to make that correlation that just because it's listed in that bucket, it may not be to your eye, it may not be not a perfect match, but like it may not be a brown. Like peach is not
peach
brown.
blossom is pretty far off from a brown.
Yeah.
So most likely that was changing something else that she was doing in the value for some particular reason. It's hard to say what, but it's what was working in the canvas that she did. So that's one of the things and I'm not saying to disregard what others have done. Please do not. But that's why it's important to know what the original DMC is that you're changing, so that you can look and see and say peach blossom, and you can look at a picture of peach blossom on the website and be like, that doesn't look like 801. I don't think I want to put that there because that's too light. But it could be that Angelina was changing something and that was where she wanted the light. Maybe there was a lot of other really dark browns around that. And so she just made all of them a little lighter. And so 801 is actually the lightest of the browns in that area. And so she went that way. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I really struggle with is when you're talking about putting something next to something, like, is it going to work? Right. Is there anything that, and this is all going to be your opinion, right? Is there anything that will not work next to each other?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a matter of keeping personally, I try to keep the integrity of the piece, the art, even though I'm adding to it myself, of course, and making it my own by putting what I see into it. But keeping the integrity of it, you can still change. I don't think there are some things that I don't think necessarily go the best together, but
give me an example.
Like an opal glow glass sparkler next to maybe an AB.
Okay.
Because the opals tend to throw yellow. And so if I'm putting it next to a blue AB, I'm going to end up with this greenish light when the two are next to each other. And if it was somebody wearing a blue bandana, I don't want green.
Sure.
Right? So it could be something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Crashly. That's where I thought it would be. The 801 trickles in the top of his head and sprinkled some in the background.
Okay.
So you could try the crystal. The other thing is you could try pumpkin spice. And a lot in his feet. Okay, yeah. Pumpkin spice, you might try that. It's not quite as dark as coffee. It's going to be a little bit lighter. But that could be another one to look at for what they were talking about. And there's a pumpkin spice sparkler, but there's also a pumpkin spice bubbles. I'm talking about the sparkler.
Do you happen to recall? I'm pulling up the ES here because I know that sometimes on the ESs it'll say put it only in his feet versus his head. In this example,
right? I think that one is probably a full replacement. It's easier to write them if they're full replacements. So we try to do that. The other thing we try to do like that is because we want people to have the license to do those little things themselves. So maybe we tell them overall what to do, and they're like, well, how come they didn't do something, on that headband, or why didn't they change it in their eyes? Well, that's because we want you to do that.
Yes. So I went ahead and pulled up, this is the ES. So since we have one up, I can cover some basics, and Cheryl, please fill in anything that I miss.
Okay.
But you have a couple things that you want to remember about ESs when you're looking at them. First of all, read the title very carefully, because there are images that have the same names. So you want to make sure that you're looking at not only the name of the image, but also the artist. But then also there are companies that have, or even other, two different companies that may have it charted as a square versus charted as a round. So you want to make sure that you're paying close attention to the top, so that you're not immediately going down a bad path with finding the replacements. Now here, in this instance, as Cheryl mentioned, everything listed here, they're saying put it on the entire canvas. That's how they designed it. So everywhere that you see the coffee, if you're going to go with the pumpkin spice, which Crash had said a lot on his feet, some on his head, stuff like that, you would put it on the entire canvas. However, you will also see ESs out there that may say only replace the coffee in his feet or in his hat, or what have you, and it will give you some instruction that they're only looking to replace it in that one section. Doesn't mean you can't do the whole thing, of course, right? That's the whole gist of this. This is your thing, but the way that they designed it is to replace it on the entire canvas.
And sometimes when they're partial like that, we're also doing it because it's hard to explain what part we want to do it. So hopefully you'll take license with it and see where you might want to do it, like doing it on that bubble, right? On those bubbles. And then, so it could be that there's something and you're like, oh, well, I think it would look cool to do that particular drill in a different place as well.
Yeah, and I think Cheryl makes a good point. One of the first ESs that I ever worked on with was What Lies Beneath by Dakota. And there's some very specific, this is where it goes, this is where it goes. And I'm not going to say I didn't get it, but I was just like, am I doing this right? The group, that is like, just as the cheat sheet, just as Cheryl's knowledge of Bling and stuff like that are great resources, the group itself is a great resource. Go there and say, hey, has anybody worked on whatever? And what does this mean? Replace, every other drill or whatever it says. And people are gonna help you out. And even Cheryl sometimes is the one to jump in and go, yeah, we know that's confusing, we're fixing it, or whatever the case may be.
I fully redesigned that. What Lies Beneath has been removed because I've redone the whole thing.
So now
it'll make more sense.
Now I should do it again. I actually would like to go back to and probably try that one again, because I'm sure that there was a couple things that I did that weren't part of the design, and I know that I can still do them, but just to see like the final true design.
Yeah, I think it's going to be even better. I use just as many drills, but it's more entire replacements.
Okay. So then on the second page of the ES that we're looking at here, this is basically your shopping list. So when you go to the website, if you search for Ramon, it's going to tell you if there's a bundle or not, if I recall correctly. It'll let you purchase or it'll say maybe out of stock, because in this example, coffee may be out of stock. So what you can do then is go through and just order everything else on this, and then insert pumpkin spice for coffee or whatever the deal may be. Or also consider, if you don't like glitter drills, and there's 2 glitter drills listed here, don't buy them. You can choose not to use them. I know sometimes pearls and bubbles throw people off a little bit. And
until they see them in person and they're like, oh, yeah.
Right. And I know glitter drills are somewhat controversial, just because sometimes the glitter itself alters that color a little bit. So this allows you to get everything on the list and customize it to what you like. Personally, I love the crystal confetti. So maybe I would look for a crystal confetti that would replace a glitter, because I think those are, equally as sort of, it is glitter inside the crystal, right? So
And how would you do that, Rich? If you wanted to replace 844 glitter, how would you do that?
well, I would go to the cheat sheet, and I would, let me switch screens here.
Now you got a step you got to do first.
There's stuff I got to do first. Oh, I got to look
page
see.
one of the ES to see what the original drill was.
Yes. Oh, I thought it would be. Oh no, because it's not always a one.
You run the shopping list, right? They're not always DMC for DMC.
All right, so let me see. You're right. So I want to replace 840.
Crashly.
I'm not watching the chat, so I don't know if she's
putting my phone number out there for speed dial. Tammy wants to have me on speed dial.
All right. So this is saying, let's see, glitter 840. So how do I know which one of these?
On page one.
Yep.
Okay, what DMC was it that we were replacing?
840.
Okay, so you're looking up for DMC 840 on your cheat sheet.
Okay.
To see if there's something else that, because the placement is good, right? The 844 is whatever we're replacing, that 840 is a good placement. So we're saying there's value in replacing this in this canvas, but maybe you don't like glitter. Well, then go look and see what else you look and see what else you can use instead.
So here we have 840. It's sort of there. I got the whole page in. So here's some items that I can maybe take a look at. So
now, see, I would definitely not use light blue.
Exactly. I was just looking at that. I'm like, okay, and we see the diamond
Carrie is here. Carrie, that one seems to be I don't have to look at that. Okay.
Yeah, and even because again, I wanted to look up the symbols, the legends at the top of the page. So that's saying that it's a DP with sparklers, but I doubt that the light blue or even the light topaz.
Light topaz would probably be okay for that for 840. 840 is pretty light. Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
It could be.
But definitely Sunkiss. I've seen that. I have that one.
And that's very yellow, so that's surprising.
Yeah. Square crystal.
So you take a look at those and you see, okay, maybe there's these things. Well, then you also take a look at your drills. You're also trying to, no way, Tammy. You kill me already with all your voicemails, all your voice messages.
Oh, yeah.
I know. But you look and see what the original drill is, and then you look to see, do I have 2 or 3 bags of it, right? Because that's going to make a difference on the sparklers that you order.
Sure.
And so it's like, okay, I just turned one drill and now it's going to cost me $20 in sparklers to replace it. So maybe I don't go with the sparkler. Maybe I go with the pixie dust or something else, right? Or regular metallic. Rose gold is a great metallic for 840. Also, probably nutmeg is great.
Cool. And Tammy and Berta, whoever's starring the questions, thank you for doing that. Keep doing that, because as I'm switching screens, I'm not seeing the chat whatsoever. So if there's something out there that you're seeing that I need to know, start or whatever, or put something in the private chat, I appreciate that. And don't
want to go back on something. No, it's all right. I want to go back on something because Berta did say the example I gave about what I wouldn't put together. When I said about an opal glow glass next to an AB, sometimes, yes, it could look very well if it's the right match.
Sure.
It's 2 that are totally diametrically opposed colors next to each other that shouldn't be. That's what would drive me crazy.
And again, just driving home, I think people are nervous, scared to not scared, but nervous about blinging, and they want to know A equals what, B equals what, and that's not always the case.
No.
You guys are making suggestions,
right?
And but there's a whole world, a whole catalog, a whole list of cheat sheet items out there that you could also use, and maybe light topaz is your choice for the 840. You know,
right.
and maybe that's just makes your eye, like it a little bit better.
Yeah, and it's going to be dependent upon where it is that you're putting it and what you're doing it for. But that's how you can use the ES that you were asking about. DP for Sparkler's dummy book. um,
Yeah.
but that's why you use the cheat sheet. And so if there's drills, that you don't care for. Now I do want to tell you all about sparklers. So diamond painting didn't start as diamond painting, right? This is all from nails. This stuff was all done for nails. So this is nail art that turned into diamond painting. So when they make sparklers, they're making them for nail art. They're not making them for diamond paintings. So they're not so worried about the size being consistent. However, we're finding that China's getting very sloppy with the sizes. And because the grids are tighter, so that things fit better and there's less gapping, which is good, right, for our finished picture, now we can't be as loose with those drills that were a little bit too big. You have to have them be the right size. And because of that, some of these they're having to make 2 and 3 and 4 times. And that's why some of these things are out of stock for so long, is because they have to be the right size. They cannot be any bigger than a certain size.
And quite honestly, with nail art, a fraction of a millimeter or whatever off is not going to make a difference, because you're not putting it in a grid, you're putting it on a nail.
Yep.
So the comment, Cheryl, about the Sparklers for Dummies book, that is something, and Melanie mentioned it there, that Melanie and Cheryl and Melanie and I have this education background. Melanie from like high school, stuff like that, and I'm adult education. We want to come up with a workbook so that when we have...
I have a master's degree in education.
Oh, well, there we go. There, all three of us.
Mine is early childhood special needs.
Nice. Well, that could help Alberta, because
exactly. And Tammy for sure.
Tammy for sure, yes. But we want to come up with like a little bit of a workbook so that when we do have these Bling discussions, you can flip to a page and there's already some basic information there, and you can make the specific notes that are hitting you at that moment.
Right.
Yeah. So that is something that we're working on. So Berta says she was also a teacher. Well, yep. Prove it. All right. So are we okay to move on to another question, Cheryl?
Yes. So let's go. Why don't we talk about the sparklers? Because if we talk about the different categories of sparklers, maybe that will help more in how to use the cheat sheet that Carrie has created for us.
Okay. So give me a second to switch over. So
what do you mean Bird is out?
Bird is out?
I don't know. Mel says Bird is out. I don't know.
So this question was one that I posed to Cheryl when I had the privilege of sitting next to her at what was it, Lone Star Retreat. And one of the things that when I was working on my color cards, so the color cards that are out there, I did a video on them. You can go find those in the Speaking with Diamonds listing of videos. The color cards, you got the DMC color cards that you can put what your stash is, right? So that oh, I do have this color, I do have this color. But then there's the sheets that you can print off from DP with Sparklers that have the sparklers listed, because they don't follow DMC necessarily. So one of the questions I had was, there's different categories of sparklers. So there's ceramic, and I see that there's a question about that. We'll get to that. Yeah. Glow glass, the metallic, the twisted. And I asked to Cheryl, I said, what is the difference here? So I asked Cheryl if we can go through this, and I'm going to try and get as close as I can to the pictures, and hopefully the picture's showing what Cheryl's describing. But if not, I think you can envision it, because when I saw it, when Cheryl told me, and I was holding the package of sparklers, Oh, you are exactly right. There is a gold rim or whatever to the sparkler. So let me go ahead, and the first one is that I have pulled up here is Twisted.
Okay, just a minute. Crashly, that's what she said. Okay, thank you.
Man, I ain't missing all the good chat.
Crashly says, I feel so violated. I mean, open door, right?
What? Wow. How, man, I'm missing.
Sorry.
That's all right. I'm trying to
Yes,
find.
but there are many different categories of sparklers. So when we list the sparklers, like Angelina, she keeps hers by alphabetical order. Doesn't matter to her what the different drill types are or how their treatments are on there and stuff like that. So she has a spreadsheet she puts out there alphabetically. Tina and I, however, we think of them as categories, as types, just like you have glitter is a type, AB is a type, crystal is a type. It's the same thing with sparklers. They're going to do different things. It's also going to impact how you use them and what I would recommend as a sub, like when we were talking about coffee. I would not want to use an AB sparkler for coffee, which is a plain sparkler, meaning it has no coating, it's just cut faceted glass. So I would look for something that's similar in that type.
And when we go through these, what you'll see is there are certain treatments to the sparklers that it changes the way that the color reads altogether.
Yes.
So you may go, oh, well, this is red. Well, the treatment may make it look more brown or
right.
something. So
right.
Is there a specific one that...
Oh, this is a perfect one. Twisted is a great one. We have that question often. People will say, what's the difference between, say, Twisted Emerald and Emerald? And I know you don't have them up here. So you can still see them. You can still see the main emerald. But when you look at the drill, there is a gunmetal ring coating around the outside of the drill. So it's from the bottom up about halfway. There actually is a light metallic coating, and on these it's typically a gunmetal type. And so what it does is it changes that emerald from this bright, vibrant green to a nice gray green. So you still get the hint of the green, but you have that gray. So it allows us an opportunity to use it to blend a little more. So if I had something like this and you need a replacement for this, you might look for a metallic drill. You might look for a crystal AB because it's the same type of coating on there.
All right, let me pull up the next. We're going to go in the order of the tabs that I have because that's easier. So let me see. The next one is crystalline.
Crystalline? Okay, crystalline are rainbow. So there is a whole rainbow of color in there. So when you look at them, they're going to pick up the colors that are around them, and they're going to just change and be more vibrant with the colors that are around them. So it's a rainbow of colors that you can kind of see. Maybe better to do not azul, but try like, yeah, seduction's a perfect one. It doesn't look like it here, but in person, it has so many different colors in it.
Which is this one? This one looks...
Oh, yeah. Disco. Disco's fantastic.
You had me at disco.
Mm-hmm.
So these, you said, have a bit of a coating on them.
It's more about the treatment inside the glass itself.
Okay.
All right. It's more about that, or the treatment of what is put down before they put the glass on it. And then they may do another coating. I think these go through a double coating, a double process. There's probably something inside, and then there's probably something coated on top, almost like a light AB coating or something like that. That's giving it. Citrine is one of my favorites.
Here, Eden is reading a lot of, like, it's both yellow and green almost.
It is. Yep.
And is that the purpose of the color, or is that the treatment that's making it do that?
That's going to be the treatments that's making him do that, giving him that rainbow effect.
Okay.
And so that's what crystalline are they are rainbow. The sample packs, we do have some mini packs that are for the plain, the AB, and then there's another one called Four Seasons. I am trying to put other mini packs together. They probably won't be out till 2026. So, but there will be more of the mini sets. And one of the things is I do the mini sets and you get basically a third of 20 different colors, a third of a bag of sparklers in each of them. And I make sure there's no duplications. So if you were to buy every single mini set and I had 6 of them, then you're going to get 120 different sparklers. There won't be any duplication. Gilded. Now, gilded are very similar to twisted, but gilded have a gold metallic around them. So it's the same type of thing. It's just a different treatment. It's a different metallic that's around there.
So here, this is Athens gray, which should be gray, but you do see a lot of gold around the edges here.
You do. Yes.
So this, like if I were doing something, I'm thinking Halloween related and dark and spooky, and I want a gray, this may not be the best choice for that because of that gold.
Correct. This one is a fantastic replacement for 169, 926, 927. There's one other, but that's one of them. This is one I pull out for replacement almost every time, and we have to make ourselves stop and pick something different.
Yeah, I can imagine you have some favorites, and you're going to go for those each time.
Yeah.
Let's look at semi-metallic.
Yeah, they're called mini sets, right? So semi-metallic, these are ones that the metallic coating that's on them is different colors. So they may not be just all gold shadow, which is what happens to be on the gold. It is gold shadow, they call it. This may be a gold on one. It could be an antique gold on another. But they're semi-metallic because they're not quite fully coated metallic, but they weren't really a twisted series either. So this is what we came up with, was a semi-metallic that we could kind of put those that didn't fit neatly in the other categories. But they do have some sort of metallic ring around them.
So here, this one listed as blue is giving a lot
Purples.
of purple.
Yep. And that's because the metallic that's put on there, the ring that's on there, changes the color. Blue shadow is one that people sleep on.
Yeah.
If Mary's here, Mary, how about blue shadow, huh? And Jeannie, yeah.
You know what I was sleeping on for the longest time, and I think just because the name of it is sort of boring, is like just the original sparkler, and those things just jump off the can.
Yeah, yeah. There, Mary says, love blue shadow. Yep.
So here we have opal.
And opal, now opal is going to be different. We have some that are opal that don't change color, but opal does tend to go yellow, because while you're looking at this picture and you're like, oh, that's a beautiful, bright, nice, light yellow, you're looking at the backs. You have to look at the drills in the tray from the top. Rich saw that, we showed everybody that. You need to look from the top. So you need to not look at the pile of drills that's sitting there. You need to look at the tray. That's right. You need to look at those tops. And that one happens to be seafoam. I can tell you that that's going to look green, but when you put that on your canvas, it's going to be a yellow.
All because of the opal treatment.
Because of the opal, correct.
So something like, well, let's look at this one. So this is blue opal.
Blue opal is blue opal because the opal is not first. It's not treated with it. It's opal within the glass, so it looks like opal itself, whereas the others have an opalescent coating.
Wait a minute. This is blue opal, so the opal is on the inside, but if it says opal glow glass, opal is on the outside?
Yes, pretty much, yes.
So there's
Not actual real opals.
no, I know, but
Okay.
I'm trying to distinguish like the order in which the word opal comes in the name actually means something.
Yeah, they really do. So if you were to look at blue opal and you were to look at opal glow glass sky, okay, you're going to see that opal glow glass sky is more translucent, and you see the opal coating. There's the sets that I was talking about, Cheryl, at the bottom there that he had. See, there they are. Whereas the blue opal is cloudy. It's not clear. It's not transparent.
So
See?
there's blue opal. Yep.
Right. So see, that's the difference, is it's actually mixed in the glass, whereas the other is a treatment that's on the glass.
Write that down, everybody. Write that down. When it's opals at the end, it's in the glass, and then if it's at the beginning, it means that it's probably the coating. I think that made something click in my head.
That was one of the first. That was one of the first things that when I met Tina, Crashly can tell you, is we went over the naming conventions, because the naming of stuff they had was all over the place, and we couldn't figure out what was what. I kept getting the same sparkler, and I'm like, but it has this name. Oh, we changed the name from last time. And then I kept missing a sparkler that I was trying to get because they would change the name. So it was one of the first things. So multi-hued, they're a little more of a challenge sometimes to, you remember that? That's sometimes to use, but multi-hue means that there's more than one color within the drills themselves. So Aurora Spring looks green, but you also have some that are yellow. So some are going to be a darker green, some are a lighter green, some are kind of a yellowish green, all within the same package. Bring up pansies. That one's a little more obvious. Pansies, you see it?
Oh,
See,
yeah.
they're definitely purple, and there are definitely a blue purple, and they're all, so that's multi-hued. Is the drills are not all going to be the same size with just a coat, the same color with just a coating. They happen to have multiple hues.
So how do you use these as replacements? And let me give you an example. Like if we go the green one, because it's what popped in my head. The green one, if I'm replacing something that's green and suddenly there's other colors in there, it may look off. Am I using this more broadly as opposed to like, individual blades of grass, like more of like how do you use these on a canvas?
I tend to use them a lot in flowers, or it may be that it's someplace that you're doing in water or a cloud, right? When they chart a cloud and, you just have, the color that they give you to do. So let's say it's, I don't know, 210, right? Or something like that, just because that's kind of close to this drill, right? So that's maybe one of the clouds. But if I were to use pansies, how much interest did I just add to that cloud? Yeah. Because now it's not just that one color. By just using that one drill, it's multicolored.
So these really are not something that you would typically do a blade of grass. You may do the entire lawn or something, or a spot of the lawn.
You could. It depends upon your look and what's going next to it.
Okay.
You would want to make it pop. You would not. It's not meant for you to use the drills and pick out specific colors.
Right.
You're meant to use them as that's the drill, multi-place them, all of that.
But that
flowers.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say the flowers make sense because
flowers are perfect. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And that was one of the questions Kate had sent in about blinging water. So these, you're saying when I think when people think of blinging water, they're thinking of like the crest of the waves and stuff like that. But this could work on like a lake or a something that's not white, right? Like a white head of a wave.
And I'm going to do the water that's down below, because if I do the water that's down below, the deeper colors, then it's going to make your eye track up to where the lighter colors are, that it turns it more three-dimensional. So the crest, while I still have the stuff on the crest, because I'll still have stuff there. See, there's Peach Blossom. I would definitely not do that for 801. Right. So that's what I would do. So I'm looking at trying to, because I know one of the other questions was about the blending. So if we're blending things like that, think about not just what your highlight is, what are the low lights, right? People with their hair color, they get low lights. They have the really dark color underneath. And then they have these bright or these, light colors on top. And how much more vibrant, because the contrast, right, is there. It's the same type of thing as you're able to do that and get the eye to, it's like doing a trompe l'oeil, if you know what that is for wallpaper painting or anything like that. Okay. It's a French technique. Anyway, it's that kind of thing where you're, don't say it, Crash. But that's what you're doing, is you're trying to get those colors. So I will do that. And when I show you this canvas here, I'm going to explain a little bit and you'll see why. That'll help cover a little bit more of that. But water, it's not just the highlight of the water. Think about what you can else do in the water. Do something that else in the dark parts of the water, the darker colors, that will help your eye go to the light color to really enhance that look.
So I'm just flipping through some of these because it's like I'm looking at these through a different lens now, understanding sort of what
that's like
they are.
champagne and light pink kind of together.
Yeah. And this also, it makes me think about, I know in the last session that we had, one of the tips that you had shared that I think a lot of people picked up on was, if you have a big section of 301 in the background, mix in some 301 fairy dust or 301 AB or something to give it some interest and texture, maybe.
Yep.
That's almost like what these are doing inherently.
Yes. I have somebody at the retreat that's bringing the Winnie the Pooh, the parade. It's a canvas that I missed out. It sold out before I could buy it. And so it's one that I want, but that background is so boring. I definitely will be doing some sort of a mix, because that's all that off-white.
Okay, I'm going to be watching for that because I have that one too.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll get it someday. I'll get it on restock. I keep waiting. Haven't got it yet.
All right. So
metallic. So metallic is pretty obvious, right? It's metallic, and that's all. It has a metallic coating on them.
So this fuchsia would be the pink, right?
This is ombre fuchsia. So this is a metallic coating, but it's a metallic rainbow. It's not just the color, not just like the metallic cobalt. It's a rainbow color of metallic on there.
So here, charcoal, which would say blue or gray to me, is giving blue.
Yep. It doesn't really throw much blue. Charcoal is really a nice black one.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, metallics, exactly.
So are metallic sparklers sort of shoe-ins for replacing metallic drills?
You could do them interchangeably, but we don't have some of the colors we have in sparklers.
Right.
The other difference is the facets. Because it's glass, even though it has the metallic coating on there, it is just going to shine more vibrantly because it's glass, not resin or acrylic. Okay. Although most of all of Tina's drills, if they're not glass, are resin. She's working on getting more that are resin.
All right, let me see. Let's talk about mocha, because I know that there's questions sometimes about mocha.
Yeah, so mocha, you'll see there are no silver backs. So basically the color is all the way through. Shay, you know how I am about domestic animals. No. No, if somebody has it to bring to a retreat, then yes, I'll do it. She's asking about the Peggy Collins French Bulldog.
Oh.
If somebody brings it, I'll do it. But so the mocha color is all the way through, and there is nothing on the back protecting them. So when you put those drills down, you do want to be careful, because if you pull them off, if you have to remove them, you could lose the colored back. And now you're going to basically have just a clear drill, because you can, if you look at those on the side a little bit in the pile there, you can kind of see the color is from the back coating itself. not from the little back. It's on top of the back, right? And then it's clear glass poured on top. So when
Oh.
the back comes off, you now have lost part of your color.
So the ones with the silver black or silver back, the glass is actually colored. Is that
Not typically. The glass typically is not colored. The glass, it will be something that's put on top of the backing. That then the
okay?
glass goes on and then a coating on it.
So so what does the metallic back do that a mocha doesn't have?
A metallic is going to have, well, the metallic's got multiple coatings, whereas the mochas don't. It's pretty much the solid. Now, there are some mochas that we have named other things, and that's because they have a different treatment. So it was a mocha, and then another treatment got put on it, like the twisted color or an AB color or glow glass. Some of the glow glass ones we have are actually mochas. Waterfall's one, Tiffany's one. Those are mochas, but they're actually glow glass, so they're in a different category.
Okay. So mocha's basic, sort of a basic definition, they don't have a treatment placed on top of them.
Not typically, no.
Okay.
They themselves are, and they hold true to their color, which is what's very nice. When you are looking to do something that has that glass refraction, but it doesn't really change anything, and you want to do like a one-on-one replacement, the mocha is good. Like mocha cranberry is perfect for 498 and 814 and 815, 902. Those nice dark colors, 3685, stuff like that.
So neon glow.
Neon is just something that's what China says. So sometimes drills will come and they say neon, and we don't know. Now these, I mean, they're neon when you see them. They're definitely much brighter in person. They are definitely neon, as you know, Rich, compared to the pictures that you see.
Yes.
But there are times that something will say neon, and it's like, it doesn't look like a neon, but that's what China calls them. And I don't know what that treatment is that they do, honestly, to know if it's a neon. But this is not only neon, it also has the AB coating, but then it also has the glow coating. So it's got several treatments on here.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot going on with these.
There is.
Let me just pull up another color here just for sake. So AB. Yep. Okay.
It's AB and it's gold glass. Yep. And then they're also neon.
And then there's also a plain neon sparkler, correct?
There is. And those are some that we probably would not have named that, but that was the treatment. So like Canistel is one, Current is another. They'll say neon, and you look at them like, that's not neon, but that's just because that's what China had named them. And so, yeah, no, not those. Those are definitely neon. Is there Canistel or Current in that one? Yep, there you go. So see, that'll say neon, and you look at it and you're like, that's not a neon color, but that's what they called it. It's something to do with the treatment and how they make it. And so that's why that name was there. We are now not using the word neon on some of the newer ones, but we had already put these out like that, so they'll stay that way.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, like the purple one that we just looked at, whatever, I forget the name already.
Correct.
That is, it was very saturated, so yes, it can almost go to the neon. This one is definitely doesn't give me neon.
No, it definitely does not go neon. So it's something to do with yeah, but it's just something to do with the treatment. I don't know what it is. So when I think of neon for us in the US, at least, I think of like those bright neon color, fluorescent colors.
Yes. And I will say that don't be frightened of neon, because I know that I was thinking that when would I ever use a neon? That's just not going to ever be a thing. But then I did one of actually Teemaw's diamond paintings at a retreat. It was the heart, I think the rainbow heart, and it was all the neons. wow, wow. And I don't know, it just made it, I'm like, okay, I can see where I may use this in some images, not just a rainbow.
Right. So ceramic is what we are calling, show the pile of the drills in the tray for me on that one.
Oh, okay. I see what you're doing.
Yeah. You see the silver?
Yep.
So these are mocha drills with the silver back. So what happens is they become, you don't have the same, let's see, how do I say it? I gotta look at one. The color holds true a little better because the silver backing on it is helping to allow that color to stay true to itself. Now, I don't know how ceramic tiramisu would do for coffee, but that's another possibility. It's not as dark, but that's another possibility if Dot is still here.
That I could totally see that as a possibility. And I just went to tiramisu because it sounded really good right now.
Yeah. So that's what those are. We decided to call them ceramic because they're technically a mocha, but it has the silver back. So the color is going to show differently through the top. And that's why we went with the different name for them to help us identify which family they were in.
Okay. And I think all of the tabs are going out of order on this list, but I think what left is plain, which I don't know that.
Plain just means there's no coating. It's basically, yeah, it just means that it'd be like looking at a crystal, but it's glass, so it's going to have those facets, so it's going to sparkle.
Okay. And then, so AB glow glass, this is basically similar to the opal glow glass, and it's AB, it's glow, and then whatever.
There is a difference between this one and the sea foam. So there is an AB glow glass pearl and an AB glow glass sea foam. Then there's also an opal AB glow glass pearl and opal AB glow glass sea foam. Okay. There's a difference because those that have opal in front of them are going to have more of a yellow cast. So the pearl is going to stay more true to the white. The sea foam is going to stay more true to the color that you see here and not cast the yellow like the sea foam does.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I think that was all the types of sparklers. Did I miss any of them?
Let's see, plain AB. You didn't do AB, did you? Oh yeah, we did. We were in peach blossom. Yes, you were. We did mocha, multi-hued, semi-metallic, metallic, crystalline, twisted, gilded, neon. Yep, I think we got them all.
What? There's the one Maillard.
Yeah, it's just because it's a treatment. There's only a few that we have that are like that, but it's a different way that China treats them. They're very similar to mocha, but they call it a Maillard. It's just a different type of coating that they do.
Okay.
And there's only a few, and they're mostly in slivers. There's just a couple like that.
Okay. And I don't see a specific category for this. So that
no, because Tina doesn't really classify them that way, but that's how I do have them on the sheet.
Okay.
Tammy's asking if the original DMC color does not match the enhanced color and you use both, will it change the look of the diamond painting? It absolutely will. So if it's something that you really want and you have it, and you could do a mix. You could do a mix of the original charted drills and put in a few of the enhancement ones and just put them randomly. Just mix it in a small batch, not a whole lot, and then just put them down.
So looking at a couple of the start questions here. So I think we covered enhancing water, and you reinforced do the deeper, the darker, because it draws the eye up, and whatnot. Let's see. How would you use the new ceramic drills?
Oh, and there was a question in the chat also about using crystal confetti.
Yes.
Okay, so the ceramic drills, they hold their color very well. So I would use the ceramic just any place that they went for that color.
Okay.
I would
And now
use them just like I would any other sparkler.
let me pull up the crystal confetti. So the crystal confetti, these are crystals that have essentially glitter in them, right?
That is correct. Now, right now, there are 5 of the colors that have iridescent glitter. Most of them have gold glitter. Tina and I prefer the iridescent glitter because the gold glitter is changing the colors. Because
Yes.
when we get them, you have the gold glitter and the drill is blue, we now have a green cast. And so we have to name it a green color, but that's not what it's supposed to be. We're going to do, so when we get more of these crystal confetti drills, which there will be more, then we are going to request the iridescent glitter as opposed to the gold glitter. Now, there may be a couple we keep the gold,
Yeah.
but we
Like
definitely
something in the brown or,
go
yellow family.
to the 3803. Go to 3803. Or even 3836. Either one of them.
3803.
Yeah, there it is. There you go.
So that is gold glitter,
I think that one is gold.
which it really works here because the red is sort of not canceling it out. You can still see it, but it's
Right.
like it's melding with it a little bit more.
Now go to 38. I think it's 3836 maybe. There was 5 of them that have the iridescent glitter. Yeah, to the left, one more. That was 38. No, that's wrong one. That's 6. 35.
38, 30.
Yep. There you go.
I'm like, what's the difference?
That one is an iridescent glitter.
So you definitely see the glitter,
Right.
almost giving the texture, right?
Yep. And we
So-
have found some colors that we prefer. So when we do the glitter, now that we know, because no one else has anything like this. Tina came across it by accident, and nobody else has anything like this. I haven't seen it anywhere. But now we have a better idea on how it's going to work. And so we are trying to get custom colors done with the appropriate glitter to have more impact, that people will not be afraid to use them.
Okay.
Yep.
So the specific question from Melinda here is, and I think it's a brilliant question. How would you use these, since these are a relatively recent drill, and so they're not in the older ESs? Like, would you see working these into maybe an ES that was designed before the crystal confetti was around?
You could find one of the crystal confetti that works for one of the crystals. If it's already a place that we were putting a crystal drill or a glitter drill, that's where I would start first.
Okay.
To see if I would incorporate it there. Or if there's a place that you're like, man, I wish there was a crystal here, but they didn't put one here, or glitter here. See if there's a crystal confetti that'll work.
Okay.
That's how I would try to do it if you're looking for that, is something. Water could be a good one, but you have to be careful of the water, right? Because you could end up looking like you got a lot of duckweed in your water if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Is there a blue, like I was looking at the petrol blue that had gold in it. Is there a blue that has iridescent in it?
995 maybe. No, that one looks like it's gold too. I don't remember which ones they are now.
I think there is, because I think I remember. No, that's gold too.
Yep, that one is gold.
There's definitely one, because I looked at it and I was like, oh, I really.
Yeah, but we do like the iridescent. And I know some people are like, oh, I don't want to, but the iridescent is just really going to be better, and it's not going to limit the use. It's not going to change the color of the crystals so much.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, because when you call this electric blue, this is it doesn't read electric blue to me.
No, it does not. It does not.
Muddy blue. Muddy blue.
It is. It's a good replacement for 995 if that's the area that you don't want to have it be really bright, and it is you want more subtle.
Okay. So there's another starred question here that I think goes back to, you were talking about the challenges with the different sizes and stuff like that. And Stephanie's asking, did the crystals come from the same supplier that is mixing up sizes? She's asking that because a batch of green 992 she's using is pretty bad. The silver backs are scratched, some trash, etc. So not everything comes from the same manufacturer, correct?
That is correct. Tina is buying crystals from probably 4 different people. And one batch will come in from, because I help check that stuff in. One batch will come in and it'll be like, oh, these are gorgeous. They're perfect size. They're not scratched. They look really good quality. And then the same company, 2 bags later, these are like, what? So it's always changing. The other thing to look at, if you have some that are missized, see if those were the ones that we had listed as bad before with the mixed size. Like, are they on a sale price now? Did you buy them a while ago? Because Tina has pretty much removed everything from the site unless it says see description. We've replaced most of those that were mixed sizes that we had problems with. So if it still says see description, it means that they're still mixed size. We have not found a good alternate, but we also don't use those in the ESs.
Yes, and I think that's a very important thing to realize, because even I just did a search for C description so we can see an example of one of them. But let's see, C description.
Yes, Matt, that's going to pertain to regular glitters. They're mostly going to be iridescent, and we're also going to try to do more saturated colors. There may be some that stay gold, but majority of them will go to the iridescent glitter. Because then if China gets heavy-handed with the glitter, at least it's not changing the drill entirely. The other thing is, like, I've had people post that their pearls for squares were too large. But then we go to investigate, and it's like, well, they bought them 2 years ago. I'm sorry, that was 2 years ago. We've had them sized correctly now. We're trying to. But again, it's made for nail art. We try really hard to have them come in the right size, but they don't always. So when we design with our enhancement suggestions, we try very hard to, on pearls for squares, when it's on a square canvas, or sparklers for squares, we try really hard to only do it in like lines or small batches, that it's not going to be a whole bunch together. So the likelihood of them all fitting is not going to be a problem for you.
So one of the C description, I just wanted to, as a consumer of TP with sparklers, I think you guys do a great job at making sure people understand when something that they're getting is going to be a little wonky. Whether it's, I saw this when I did this just now, searching on C description, there's a number of 3D printed stuff out there that says C description. It'll be like, it has a scratch, or it has a chip, or it has a whatever. And in this instance here, this is saying that there's round drills mixed in the bast.
And they came from China that way.
And I get it. You're not going to throw it away.
We can't.
It's like,
he's paid for it. Tina's already paid for it, and you can't return it.
Yeah. So here you're giving a discount, a 25% discount, because probably 25% of the drills, if you're buying them for squares, maybe about 25% of them are round, and you can't use them for the project that you're buying them for. You could, of course, save them for a round project.
Yes, absolutely.
But I think you guys do a really good job at making sure, being transparent when something is not turning out as it should, or as it has in the past. Like, I think I've seen a number of times colors that the color comes in and it's off, and you're like, we're putting this out here because we have it, and the color is XYZ, but it's not matching the old XYZ. So don't correlate the two.
Right. And you'll see that we'll revise an enhancement suggestion. So when we put that out there, I now put a table on the bottom of page 2 that has what we changed. So historically, what we've changed. So so depending upon when you bought the drills, you know that the batch you have was okay. Or if it was after that, you can try to figure out, if you need to change something, or if you didn't buy enough, or if there's a problem, right?
Okay.
On that one though, with the 992, with the 992 crystal, go ahead and email DP with Sparklers though for that, so we can just double check and you can get an official response from Tina. I don't remember if that's one of the crystals that was a bad size or not. Can you look, Matt? Just type 992 in the search box on the right. Don't hit enter, just hit 992. That's the best way to search. People always want to hit enter. Don't hit enter.
Yeah, that's something that's a very good tip. So over here, you're saying when this comes up, 992, it's going to
auto. And then don't hit enter. It's going to bring up, yep. See, there is no crystal. So that means it was probably removed. So the one that you have, the 992, was probably from one of the bad batches. And so what would happen is we don't have it anymore, or we're not carrying it, or we're going to get rid of it in a different way. She's just not listing it anymore on that 992 crystal. So you can pick through them, to find which ones are good and the right size. That's about all we can do.
And just to clarify, when I do hit enter, it's going to bring up like the pages for each one.
You'd see the picture of each of those, and you have to scroll through, and then you still have to go to the individual page. Whereas here, if I want to go look at the round glitter, I can just click round glitter. It's going to go right there.
Yeah.
I'm not having to scroll a page of all the ES and everything else.
Right. And
that's why there's not many ES up, is because 992 is not one we use because we don't have it. Yeah, right. Don't hit enter. Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't seem right, but it works. It just is so much better. But I just cannot imagine what it's like when these drills come in huge bags, huge shipments. Because doesn't she say that she orders a ton at a time?
Well, not always. She orders 10 kilograms of square drills and usually 7 of round. And so that's a lot.
That's a lot.
You get about 65 bags out of a kilogram.
And how big is the bag?
The 10 kilogram bags, they're like this.
So
I can barely lift them. Yeah.
Imagine trying to quality control every single drill essentially in that. It's not going to happen.
And we do go through and test them. And gunmetal, Tina's talked about it multiple times on her live. She now has 30 kilograms of gunmetal, and it's all the same gunmetal. They are all the mixed. She just can't keep trying to order it. That's money just out. How is she going to get rid of these? How is she going to use these?
Right.
So it's like, yes, it's mixed, but if you're willing to pick through them, it's a great drill to use.
Yeah. All right. I don't see any. Wait, is there one more? Did we talk about how to use the ceramic drills?
I said just with regular color, like you normally would.
Okay. So I don't have any other starred questions here, and like I said, I have been watching the chat. So do we want to talk a little bit about the canvas that you're designing?
Yes. So behind me is water lilies, and I know Rich is going to bring that up because this is an archived kit. Melanie, it's all her fault, made me purchase this because I did not buy it. It's by Peggy Collins. I did not buy it when it came out, but we're going to a retreat in February, and this is going to be the project that many of us are going to do while we're there. So I'm trying to design it so that we can all work on it together while we're there. So I did buy it on a D-stash so that I could get it and do that. So this is the canvas that we have. This happened to be before they had pixie dust, or fairy dust, DAC fairy dust. So it was easy to be able to add some of that to there. But I know one of the things Rich had mentioned was about Reverse engineering. Well, I haven't really designed this one yet, but I can go through a couple of things that I have on here. So this comes with 4 ABs. So it came with the bright yellow. It came with a bright orange. It came with this pale pink, which are in some of those outer petals. And then it came with the pale blue, which are some of the subtle lines in the leaves and stuff and the swirls behind the flowers. And then there's a few up in the flowers. Okay. So what I started to do was look to see what color families they had not touched, right? They hadn't touched orange. They hadn't touched green. Now, if you know me and you didn't touch green, are you kidding me? Especially when I have some of my favorite greens in here. 907 is in here. 165 is in here. 3819 is in here. Those lovely bright, bright greens. They hadn't touched red. They hadn't touched a teal. So I'm going to look at some of those colors first. The other thing is I'm going to look at the bags and see if I have bags that are 2 bags of colors, because if there's 2 bags of colors, chances are that's going to be well distributed throughout the canvas. So even if that's the only change that you made, there would be a fantastic impact by just changing 1 drill, even if it's 2 bags, because it's going to be throughout the canvas, right? You got to touch grass. Yeah. So what I did is I started looking to see what I had 2 bags of. Okay. So I had 2 bags of 912. You might want to make me big for a little bit.
Yes, ma'am.
I had 2 bags of 912. I got 2 bags of 906. I got 2 bags of dark green 890. I've got 2 bags of 666. Okay, of course that looks orange, but it's 666. It's red, guys. It's red. So I went through and and 907. One of my favorites, 907. So I started to go through and look to see on the canvas where these are going to go and how well they're distributed. So of course the greens, I have multiple families, right? So I have this bright green, but then I have this 912 type family, and then I've got these really dark greens. Because there's so much green on the canvas, there's nothing that says I can't do all 3 of these greens because they're so different from each other. And they're most likely not going to be right next to each other. So I can take a look at these. So I started looking at some of those different ones that they had, and I came up with some different options for them. I went through and I started picking some of the different ones to see what I would have available to be able to make choices. There are some that there's pretty much only one choice. So that kind of decides. So this is what I will do, and I haven't finished designing this kit. This is just pulling some stuff out. So for the 890, the only thing that I really had that was this nice a dark green is they either have glitter 500 or I have a crystal 890. Okay. So I put those aside with this because I don't know which I'm going to use, because it's going to depend what else I'm going to do near it. So I will put that aside. And then I went with the middle family, this 912, which is a totally different, if you look at your DMC, it's a totally different family. We have this really nice glitter that is that color family that is not used very often. And then we have really fantastic crystals for that color as well. So I will set those aside to go with that. And then I went with the light green, this 907. And again, I have I found a light pixie dust, and then I also have a beautiful crystal. Again, I'm not going to use all of these. I won't use crystals in all 3. I'm going to use one of each thing. So if I were to use all 3 greens, I only have this one that has a pixie. So this one would become the pixie if this is the one I was going to do. The other 2, I have both a crystal and a glitter. So it's just going to be a matter of what else is going around them. Well, then I got looking at the canvas a little bit, and here's what will happen. I came across, I'm like, I wonder what I have for metallic drills, regular metallic drills. And I have 913 here, which is in the same family as that 912. It just happens to be a single bag. But then I found my metallic spearmint, which is like a perfect match.
Yeah.
So that means I'm going to use this, and I'm going to skip the 912 that was the 2-bagger because I'm in love with this. But that's because that's what I'm choosing to do. Melanie, I'm not going to tell you that. You have to do something else. I'm teasing her. So that's going to be a must. So that's going to change what else I do. All right.
Melinda says that for those of us that are timid with enhancement, she loves the 2-bag idea. So basically what that was is you're saying, because there's 2 bags, there's a lot of that drill.
Yep.
So inherently, if you just replace that one thing, you're going to hit pretty much most of the canvas.
Yes, exactly. And if you choose to try that, you could do one that's a light color, one that's a dark color. Do one with the glitter, do one with the crystal. And then look for a bag that's smaller that you can do a sparkler, which I'm going to show you a couple choices here in a minute.
That really is a fantastic tip, and I hadn't thought about, and it almost ties into the mix the 310 for the background with the fairy dust stuff, because there's so much of it.
Yep.
Bring it to life a little bit.
Yeah, I just want a little bit of interest. I mean, when you go out, when snow has just fallen, right? Snow is not just white. You have little sparkles in it.
Right.
They're random, right? It's sparkling because they're crystals. So mix a little crystal in there, mix a little pixie dust in there, something just to add a little bit. Yeah. So then I was looking at, okay, so the red is a must, as you can see from the canvas, right? The red is a must, even though it looks orange on screen, it's red, it's 666. So I had 3 choices here. I have a beautiful crystal, 666. Now again, these are 2 bags, so I'm not going with sparklers, that's too expensive, okay? I have glitter, 321, because our glitter 666, whoever asked about the DMC to DMC, our glitter 666 is not as dark a red as 666. Oh, I'm going to use 321 because I like the vibrancy of that red instead. But I also have a metallic called watermelon, and that's red. So I have 3 choices for this red, but I won't decide until I see what else I'm going to put around it. I just set them aside to see where else I'm going to go. Then I was looking, so I had this beautiful big bag of 3341. I'm looking for these larger bags because these bags are about the size of one package of drills from TP with Sparklers. And again, they should be fairly distributed throughout the whole canvas, so you're going to get good impact. But however, this color is in the middle of the red everywhere. Now, granted, this looks orange, but it's red, okay? I didn't like that. I'm going to keep this by itself. I'm not going to change this because I really do want to change the red. So that's how I make that decision, okay? Then I get looking at what I have potentially for sparklers. So let's do the blue one. You'll probably be able to see that easier in the picture. Rich, will you put the picture back up of the canvas for me? Thank you, sir. So you can see that there are some dark blue lines, very subtle, around the outer edges. Then there are a couple that are in around some of the swirls on some of the inner petals. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so there are some blues there. There's some blues there. There's like 2 or 3 blues. And they're all pretty much the same family. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look and see, is there one that goes through all those blues? So that if I'm only changing one of those blues, which I would because the 3 are very close in color, which one is going to have the most impact? Which one is going to be distributed and balanced through the canvas? Because these are sparkler size bags. These are small bags. So these will be sparklers. Okay. So I will look at those and try to decide. For now, I will set them aside. I won't pick a sparkler because I will have to make decisions on the bigger bags, what I'm going to do. And then I will look to see, okay, now which one do I want to go with the sparkler? And if it gets down to it that I like where both of them are and I can't decide, Tina and I weigh the bags. And we see which one is going to give you the most value. And maybe one, I think, is only going to be one bag of sparkler, and I weigh it, and it's 2 bags of sparklers. Oh, okay, I'm not doing that one. I want to do 1 bag of sparkler, right? Because, we're trying to be conscious of everybody's budgets.
Sure.
So we'll do that. I have the same thing on the purples. You see the light purples that are in there with the pinks, right? So I have 208 and I have 210, and they weigh almost the same. Now, they're small bags. I myself will still put a sparkler for one of these. But you can see where that light purple is because there really isn't anything more than the light pink. Yeah, typically I will pick the sparklers last. Not always. Sometimes the sparklers inspire me first. But because I'm going with the metallic drill, I want to pick the sparklers later. Only for this particular canvas. If I were doing a different one.
Is there a drill that you typically try for first just because it's a harder one?
Yes, glitter drills. We usually try to pick a glitter drill first because it's the hardest one to try to find the colors for. So for me to sit here and I have 4 glitter drills out, that's great. Then I have those options. Because then I start thinking about, okay, when I get looking at sparklers, do I have sparklers that are going to match really well? Am I happy with it? So if I'm like, oh, this is the sparkler I want, like one of the crystalline series is chrysanthemum or jacaranda. I love those two. And if that'll work for one of these purple, I want to use it because it's one of my favorites, but it's not used very often. So I may look at that to see, and so that may also balance my decision for what else I'm picking because it happens to be one of my favorites. Then we have this nice deep pink, which you can see, the 715 or 718, 915, right? The bright pinks. So you can see those also in the leaves. There are some in the background, and there's those nice stripes, and they didn't touch this family. So I'm going to look for a sparkler, and I'll double check and see which one makes the most impact and what it's next to. Because I don't want to have like an AB drill next to a sparkler, next to a crystal, next to it. That could be too much. I will tend to do a blend. I know one of the questions was blending your bling. It's blending the coatings that are on top, right? An AB and a sparkler are going to be the most intense colors that you're going to have, the brightest, the shiniest. The crystals are going to recede. In general, they're going to recede colors. So that's helping to push forward other colors that are going to make them lighter. So for me to do like the crystal on the light green, right? The really light greens on there, it's still going to be beautiful, but it's then going to allow those darker greens to seem deeper than they actually are, which then pushes forward the lighter colors. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes.
So,
a couple things, just listening to you, and it's hidden in my brain, so I want to make sure to bring these out. So you're talking a lot about your favorites, but you're also very familiar with number one, the DMC code, but also the product line that DP with Sparklers had. But I think that's where that cheat sheet really comes in clutch, because I don't know everything that DP with Sparklers has.
Right.
I do have my favorites, but they're typically
you have lots of new favorites now, don't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. When I was sitting next to Cheryl at the retreat, I was going through her rings of sparklers, and I'm taking pictures. And I think I put the order in 2 of every bag, and it's a couple $100. So I went crazy. But like, I think that's where that cheat sheet really, really, really helps, because it gets you the image of not only here's what DMCs could work, but also here's what DP with Sparklers product could work.
Right. The other thing that we do with that is Tina and I actually use the cheat sheet ourselves when we're designing. And we try to find drills that we have not used before so that there's more options for substitutes for you guys. So we will purposely, yes, I will have some favorites, but like when I go looking at these glitters, I use glitter 500 all the time. We hardly ever use glitter 911. Now, if I hadn't found that metallic, I would have gone with this as the glitter because it's seldom used and it would give us that good option. So we will look at that too, is trying to find other substitutes that the consumer can look at when they say something is out. Here on the cheat sheet is more SKUs that you can look at that might work for you.
Another thing that, as I'm listening to you sort of go through your process here, Cheryl, one of the things that I've heard talked about, and I've participated in the conversations of, do you plan your bling or do you do it as you go? And it sounds like what you're talking about is you're planning it. You're going, here's the 3 possibilities that I want to use. But until you get in there and see what it's next to and do that, sort of like the more as you go or as it blends into the rest of the picture. So it's really sort of should be a combination of the two.
Not exactly. When I'm designing, especially when I don't have Tina here, I will pull out multiples because I'm looking to see what I find that I think is going to be good placement and what do I have that's good color matching. And then I'm going to start a process of elimination.
Okay.
Like if I have one of these green drills that I pulled out and it's basically only going to be on 1/3 of the canvas, I'm not using that one. It'll get tossed out. So I pulled out my possibilities ahead of time, and then I start looking to see what it is. Now, I may make a note for myself that I wish to use that for myself personally. But I typically will start out with multiple colored as options because it's like, okay, I have these options for glitter, but as I showed you in the greens, I only found one I was happy with for a pixie. So I would go with that as a pixie because this canvas has no pixie in it. I definitely want to get a couple of pixie dust in here. So I'm going to look at things like that because I want people to be able to try different drills. But that's because I'm looking at it also to help Tina's business out, right, to be able to show those things. And so we've been trying to do more bonus suggestions of what else you could do on things to give people other ideas that they could explore. Like it might be that I say get a bag of sparklers, but this bag is only 2 grams. Well, you got a lot of leftover sparklers. So it may be that I don't tell you to do that. It's a bonus suggestion. It's up to you if you buy it or not.
Looking at the comments, so Crashly says cheat sheet release papers, and I think we're working on an idea for something that has to do with sort of keeping track of what you're replacing. But cheat sheet release papers, that would be really cool. Matt says he only feels comfortable and likes the look of crystals being the dark end if a blended shade. Do you think that's common or is it just him?
I don't know if it's common or not, or if it isn't. But if that's the look that you like and you prefer, there's nothing wrong with it. You do you, and that's fine. You know that. So then when you are looking to do the enhancements, if it's not the darker crystal, then don't get it. Look for another substitute or use the charted drills. There's nothing wrong with that.
He then goes on to say or ask, are crystals just as capable of being the highlighted brightest edge where he would usually use an AB or a sparkler?
Crystal ABs are, but I still find crystals tend to recede a little bit, but I will occasionally use it for the light. Especially if I put a pixie dust next to it, it's going to make that crystal pop more. Again, it's feeding that color. It's blending that bling.
And then there's a petition going around here for a Cheryl retreat that just does enhancements.
We just had one. We just had one. Tall Oaks. We have another one in 2 weeks.
You got Tall Oaks plus, any of the retreats that Cheryl goes to. Certainly she's happy to sit down and bend the ear a little bit to talk about enhancements. You just want to make sure that you give Cheryl some time to enjoy your retreat too.
Yes. Now, Carrie was at this last retreat and she sat next to me because I made her sit next to me. Just FYI, I made her sit there. But she learned a couple of things in just us talking. that she's making some changes on her cheat sheets that, she found to be helpful. So that's great because we're able to have that discussion and find things that other people see a different perspective,
Right.
on how they're looking at that. Yeah, Matt, it's a matter of what it is that you like, right? It's just really a matter of where it is that you like it and the effect of it. And it may be that you're thinking of crystals as standalone, but if it's a standalone, it doesn't have to be a standalone. There can be something to help it. And then it becomes more intense. Yeah.
And Cheryl says, I wish that retreat was online too. One of the things that with this workbook, we're trying to figure out a way to sort of have like an online class that would be, whether we all pick one painting and we work towards designing our own thing and, all have input or whatnot, or something of the like. So because I believe that would help me, I think that would help others to sort of have this online class that it's not just one session, right? We're sitting down and we're doing, okay, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. This is what it works with. This is what it doesn't work with, and going through the whole thing to really cement the process and the knowledge a little bit.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm doing that I've been working on all week and I'll be working on all next week is our design space for the Tall Oaks Retreat. And so Tina had put out a wish list where many people in the community, thank you so much, bought a lot of the things that we use to be able to do that. And so I'm working on getting those filled and ready. So we will actually have all of the drills that will be there, that they carry. Everything will be there.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the video, I think was it last week's live that Tina took us around the Tall Oaks?
Yes.
And it brings you into the production space, the part that they're building out to like actually package the drills and whatnot.
Yep.
I literally, and I know I've joked about this before, but it's like my dream is coming true that DP with Sparklers is going to be Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. And I am just going to want to just walk through it. And just because when she showed that big open area, like down, and the garage door and stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's going to be amazing.
It's going to be full with all the stuff they already have in the garage and the shop. And yeah, it's, I don't know if they'll even get it all in there. They have that much.
Yeah. Cheryl says it's a great idea, or maybe a Vulcan mind meld with Cheryl. I don't know.
Vulcan mind meld.
I don't know. If you talk to Cheryl long enough, you know that there's some darkness in that brain. I don't know if we want to meld. that may be a little scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is still openings at the retreat space. Just FYI, there is stuff on DP with Sparklers if you're interested, and there's also stuff in her Facebook group.
Yes. Yeah, because obviously the best place to go to get some, one-on-one time with the experts of enhancing is a Tall Oaks retreat. And I think the retreats that at least Teemaw is holding, that's her plan, is to have you and her or one or the other or something there so that there's time spent talking specifically about enhancements.
That's correct. Yep, we definitely do that. And like when Carrie was there at this last retreat, she had access to all the drills. Just because, it doesn't mean it's only for Tina and I. She was able to pull out and decide on some things that she had ideas she wanted to do herself. But she now had access to all the drills to put in them in tray to really be able to see them and make decisions for what she wanted and then place her order.
And that is sort of like what I got to do at Lone Star when Cheryl gave me her tub of rings. I was going through them because there's things that, number one, you always have the challenge of you see it on the computer screen and that it's not exactly this, it doesn't appear as it should. The other thing is that I tend to look at something with the word pink in it and I go past it because I don't like that. But when I'm looking at it and I go, this is, I see the pink, but I also see something else in it. I now want this. I don't automatically just dismiss it because of the name.
Sample wall you can go through to pick out enhancements. Yeah, I have it. I have it right there.
So we're coming up at the 2-hour mark. Cheryl, do you have anything else that you want to cover?
Actually, I want to give a couple of tips.
Okay.
Okay. Because we are still having trouble with China and the size of sparklers, if you have a stash of sparklers or you are going to be getting sparklers, if it's just one bag or something, you're good. But if you're doing a larger area of sparklers, say it's at least 5 drills wide by at least an inch or two, right? More than an inch, right? I recommend that if it's a round canvas, that you also get one bag of the corresponding sparklers for squares. Even though it's a round canvas, you may occasionally have to put that smaller drill, just one, to help make them fit because they get out of alignment. Now, it's only for round canvases, so I want to give you that tip. The other thing is if you are ordering enhancements for your stuff and you want to, like if you're going to go order like the one we had up Ramon and you had to go order those drills separately, when you go to check out in the comments section at the end, put down the name of the kit that you were ordering the enhancements for, because that will print on your invoice and then you won't have to remember what they were for.
That came up. Someone said that they have all these they ordered, they got them. It's great. And now they're like, what the heck did I order these for?
Right.
That's a great tip.
Yep. So there are many people that do that and they'll put that down, and the comments are for you to put stuff in there, and you can just put notes for self, or something like that. They know what it is. Ren and Jedi and all of them, they know what they are.
Excellent. Well, those were very helpful. And Cheryl, I'm going to be honest, I still have questions. So do you think there's another one of these in the future?
I'm sure there is.
I'm sure there is. And absolutely, I think that just looking at the chat, and people are so appreciative of you sharing your knowledge and answering specific questions, stuff like that, because I think after you diamond paint, following the instructions for so long, it's almost like you want to stop diamond painting because it's like, okay, this is getting a little boring, but Bling just opens it up and opens up the whole world of diamond painting to something even more exciting. And I think that is what a lot of people want to try.
Exactly. And you can make a small change. You don't have to make a big change. Look for something that looks interesting. You might have liked the way one of the DAC kits had a pixie or fairy dust drill in there. Okay, then try finding some other one that we might have and try it yourself, or try a glitter drill or different things like that.
Yeah.
You don't like it, you don't like it. You know that.
Well, Cheryl, I want to thank you for your time as always. Although I do know that you love talking about enhancements, so this is not a big painful ask for you, but I do appreciate your time, and I appreciate everyone showing up this evening and going through and participating, asking the questions and stuff like that. Please do me a couple favors. First of all, if you enjoyed this, please give this a thumbs up. If you enjoyed it and you know other diamond painters or you have groups out there, feel free to share the link to this video, because I want people to know that we're talking Bling and that there's constructive things coming out of these sessions. The other thing is, if you are watching on a replay, please hashtag replay and put in your questions, put in your notes, whatever. I do look at them and I can start building questions for the next session. Also, if anyone has any ideas, like we talked about the workbook and maybe some type of class, more structured class that we're working on a project to go forth. If anyone has any ideas, please email to speakingofdiamonds@gmail.com. And I'm working with, I want to make sure to include Cheryl and to include Teemaw, because this is not something, I'm not the expert, they are, and I want to help them get the message out as much as possible. So thank you everybody for attending. Berta and Tammy, thanks for hanging out in the backstage and getting the questions and stuff like that. But I've enjoyed myself. I'm on vacation, but this was the best thing that I've done so far. So, and probably one of the highlights that I did this Bling live on a vacation. So I really appreciate that.
You have a safe voyage and enjoy your time.
Thank you, everybody, and I will definitely be showing you around the ship. Maybe not live, but on some type of video or something. So take a look for that. But everybody, what does Teemaw say? Don't let anyone dull your sparkle, right? Let's do a shout out to Teemaw, and she's traveling too.
Shine bright,
shine bright,
and don't let anyone dull your sparkle.
There you go. And then we do a shot of dewormer.
Yes. No, thank you.
Which, by the way, I am going to try escargot on the ship because they always have it in the dining room. So I'm going to
You
try
go right
that.
ahead. I'm sure it's been a can sitting there for a few years. I'm not trying that. And Crashly, keep making those papers. I need those papers because Teemaw says, I want you to have those papers so that I won't do anything. I said, yes, I don't have to be on camera anymore. I don't have to try stuff.
Yes.
I don't have to do this. I won't have to do this because all those are on the papers.
Yep. Yeah. Go check out the bingo cards papers. They're amazing. And
somebody forgot to give me mine.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a good evening, and we will talk to you next time. Have a good one.